He parted her robe, and she tried to close her legs. She didn't like being so exposed before the other man. While she'd already capitulated to Ivan, that didn't mean she was going to be passed around like some party favor. He folded back the robe in a surprisingly artful way, displaying her body and framing her. "Look at this skin, like heavily creamed coffee." He ran his fingers down her ribs. "You need to eat more. Another 15 pounds would fill you out." She tried to keep her voice calm, but a bit of her anger seeped out. "I like how I am. Can we please not do this in front of, well, whoever the hell that guy is? I mean, are you one of those guys who can't get stiff without another guy watching?" Ivan tensed behind her, and she got a terrible sinking feeling in her stomach. Once again, her suicidal mouth couldn't help snarking off to her dominant. Apprehension had her afraid to move, to even breathe. He remained silent, and she risked a glance at the man in the ski mask. His blue eyes glittered intensely, his mouth set into a firm line. She was pretty sure he was pissed, and closed her eyes, awaiting her punishment. "Malishka, let me assure you the only thing I need to get off are your sweet moans and tears. Now, because you are begging for it, I will give you a lesson on what my ownership of you means." He shifted and she flinched, but he did nothing more than adjust his cock so it was seated between the cheeks of her ass, separated by her thin robe and his pants. "I'm sorry, master. Please, don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want." "Hurting you doesn't interest me, Gia. I want to possess you, to dominate you, to make you my willing slave. I don't want to hurt you." Oh God, why did this psychopath have to be the one who knew the words that would open her heart to him? He smoothed his hands over her hips and down her thighs, his pale skin standing out in contrast to her dark tan. She loved how big his hands were, the rough feel of his palms on her. Tingles ran through her at his touch. She longed to press her legs together, not so much to hide herself from the still, silent man sitting across from them, but to find relief for her throbbing need with a hard squeeze of her thighs. Dorogaya, I can smell your wet cunt. Your body understands what your mind still refuses to admit. I am your master. My desire is your pleasure. Your pussy, your tits, your mouth, they all belong to me, and I will use them as I see fit. Do not worry. I will help you learn this lesson well." "Yes, master." Her voice stuttered on the last word, and she hoped he thought it was from fear, not desire. He chuckled, a dark, masculine rumble that made her body hum like a tuning fork. "So agreeable. You should have no problem with letting Dimitri eat your cunt." Dimitri laughed while she gasped. "I thought you'd never ask. The sight of her sweet pizda has been driving me crazy." She struggled against Ivan. "No, please, I don't want this. I only want you. Please don't share me." Across from them, Dimitri dropped to his knees. As he approached them, she swallowed hard, disconcerted by the ski mask still covering his face. It somehow made him more intimidating. She began to cry, and Ivan ran his hands soothingly over her torso. "Easy. You have no choice in this. I want to watch you orgasm on my lap while he eats your pussy, so you will do it. This is not a hardship for you and nothing to fear. I am your master, and you will obey me." Wanting to stop this, and not wanting to admit how much it was turning her on, she tried to press back into Ivan as Dimitri advanced on her. "Master, if you want me as yours, why are you giving me to him?" "Because it arouses me to have you come undone while I'm holding you. Your face, your pleasure, your desire will all be open and available for my study." He leaned closer and whispered into her ear. This is as close as I will ever permit another man to come to you, at my command and at my pleasure. If anyone touches you beyond eating your sweet cunt while I watch and with my permission, I will kill them for daring to touch what is mine." Her response was lost as Dimitri knelt between her legs, moving the spreader bar so her feet sat on his thighs as he leaned forward. She watched, unable to look away, as his masked face hovered over her needy sex. He took in an audible breath and groaned before giving her labia a gentle lick, sliding his tongue between her nether lips with a skill that made her toes curl. "Put your head back on my shoulder. I want to watch you." Not liking how exposed the position made her, she turned her head away from him and hoped he wouldn't say anything. With a soft chuckle, he grabbed her braid and forced her to look back. The position he put her in strained her neck, but Dimitri was rubbing his thumb up and down the slit of her sex, following the motion with his tongue, and the sensation stole her thoughts. The contrast of the rough skin of his hand and the slick caress of his mouth had her body already hovering on the edge of an orgasm.